All right, welcome in to Yard Prep, our official Miami Dolphins pregame show. I'm Ethan Skolnick. I've got Louis Sung right next to me. On top of him, David Fernandez, Alfredo Arteaga. It's possible that others may join us here as well. Make sure you check out prizepicks.com. Still time to get in your picks before today's afternoon games, including the Dolphin game. Tua's number's really low. The way that Prize Picks works, they give you basically a fantasy point total. You go over or under. You can pick players from different teams. You can combine them, do whatever you want. So if fantasy football, if your season's already over, which for a lot of people it is, make sure that you go in and check out prizepicks.com. Use the promo code 5, F-I-V-E. You will double your initial deposit, and they got some other promotions related to that as well. So use the promo code 5, F-I-V-E for $20 in. You get a chance to win 40 on top of that just by picking two players on any team. If you want to go over Tua, again, the fantasy points they've got for him, I think, is like 15.5. So he throws a couple of touchdowns. You're in pretty good shape. All right, let's get right to it. Tua out in Arizona against a very good Cardinals team, but is not very good defensively. Let's start with you, Louis. Give me a reason why this is going to look a little bit different from an offensive perspective for the Dolphins today.
Well, this whole thing is based on whether or not Tua actually gets to be more of the quarterback that we all envision him to be. Last week, I lamented that it felt like too much that they were trying to protect him. They were trying to limit exactly what he was allowed to do. They kept giving him excuses not to throw the football, if that makes sense. I'm hoping they take the gloves off, so to speak. I'm not saying that we need to throw him to the wolves and make it so that, all right, we're just going to let you do everything right off the bat. I'm saying, though, that we need to have a little bit more willingness to let him be Tua, if that makes sense. If we think he's that special, let him try to be that special player. Don't hide him behind funky running plays, wildcat nonsense that we knew wasn't going to work in the first place. All that stuff can be experimented with after we have our baseline offense all set up and ready to go.
All right, Alfredo, to that end, let's talk about the offensive personnel he'll be out there with, right? Potential changes on the offensive line with Austin Jackson back. No Myles Gaskin. Also, no Matt Breida. So they're pretty thin at the running back position today. And then the receiver position, obviously we've seen that last week there were some issues with Preston not being on the same page, not making critical catches. And they obviously made a trade this week with Isaiah Ford. So there's a lot of turmoil there. How does it look? Who is he going to be playing with today?
Well, they're going to have to do a lot of funky-looking running plays. Just like Lewis said in the previous segment, yeah. They're going to have to somehow try to generate some type of running game. Jordan Howard's going to start. Of course, they're down the first two running backs. So some more Malcolm Perry. If Lynn Bowden is active, some more Lynn Bowden. And, yes, you're going to see some of that wildcat because they're going to have to supplement the running game somehow, and they just don't have the bodies to do it. Now, Austin Jackson being back, Pankey being inactive, that suggests to me that Austin Jackson will be that sixth offensive lineman. Now, you would say, okay, who cares that they have six offensive linemen? Pankey played 25 snaps a couple weeks ago, so it's important. So they will go six offensive linemen against the Cardinals. It's going to be – I'm not going to say it's going to be easy for Tua Tagovailoa, but it should be easier because they're down a few players. They're down one of their best corners, one of their best defensive backs in Drake Kirkpatrick. And Patrick Peterson does not travel along with your best wide receiver. So you're going to be able to get your best matchups simply by alignment. That should help Tua Tagovailoa identify coverages much, much easier. And I do look forward to him playing much better today.
Wasn't Lynn Bowden placed on the COVID list just yesterday?
I think he was. Yeah, I think he was.
They elevated Kirk Merritt from the practice squad, and Bowden's out.
I know a lot of people were very excited about Kirk Merritt, so we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, and again, Malcolm Perry may have a role also. We'll get to Jakari here in a second. Jakari Givens joins us. David, you had 5 keys on the site. Give me a couple of them that we haven't talked about yet.
Well, I mean, definitely running the ball, right? But I think contain Kyler Murray. The issue that the Dolphins have had this season and for a little while now is dealing with mobile quarterbacks. The losses came against Cam Newton, Josh Allen, and Russell Wilson, and Kyler Murray presents that same sort of issue, right? Kyler Murray leads all quarterbacks in the NFL with with over 400 rushing yards, 437 rushing yards. He gains 4.7 yards per carry. He averages over 60 yards per game. So the Dolphins are going to they're going to have to be careful with letting him get going, running the football. He likes to run in the red zone quite a bit. He's scored 7 touchdowns on the ground. So it's a matter of, maintaining the defensive principles that will allow them to, keep Arizona in 3rd and long situations where the Dolphins defensively have been really, really good. I mean, the Cardinals have a great running game, a great running game, but they're down, former Dolphin Kenyon Drake this week. I mean, Chase Edmonds is a good running back too. He's going to start for them. But it's a matter of controlling that running game and forcing Kyler Murray to beat them with the pass, and it becomes kind of a strength versus strength at that point.
It's funny. I had Kyler Murray as my dark horse MVP candidate this year. I think I'm probably 1 year early, but I think we're going to head there at some point. Jakari, we talk about strength versus strength. The Dolphins' corners are a strength. Obviously, the guys on the outside for Arizona are a strength as well. How does that play out?
I think it comes down to what type of game Kyler Murray is having. If you look when he played Dallas, he kind of ran himself into rhythm, so he was hitting a lot of big runs, and then he hit the 2 long passes to Christian Kirk. And then if you just look at when they played Seattle, he threw himself into the game. He was missing, but he does miss a lot of throws though. Sometimes he is kind of off with his throws. But I think the Dolphins have the advantage just because they have one elite guy, and that's DeAndre Hopkins. So I feel like, if you take Hawkins out the game and put it more on Fitzgerald and Christian Kirk, I mean, you kind of have them there. But they do force feed Hawkins a lot. So it's a lot of targets go his way. So Miami should have the advantage as long as they stay disciplined to that. I'm more afraid of Kyler Murray hurting us with his legs than his arm right now.
Let's look at the offense for the Dolphins again and some of the weapons that Tua may work with here. I would like to see Mike Gesicki get more involved with him. I feel like that's a security blanket that he can use here early on, particularly because the running back position is such a mess, and I don't think they're going to be throwing to Jordan Howard a ton out of the backfield. He doesn't have Gaskin for that. How do they isolate Gesicki and get him more touches, Lewis?
Well, the best thing that they can do is to keep doing what was working for him earlier in the season. Try to get him in the seam, make it so that defenders have to cheat on the ball and make sure that they're not aware of what's going on. You got to keep guys off balance. So a lot of Jakeem Grant, I think, is going to be the key for today's game. We need that speed to get separation and make it so that the defense has to be ready to chase after the guy. So if you can get him separation and you can make it so that teams actually have to be watching for him, then you can get Gesicki open. Once one guy starts making plays, then they have to find a way to get that guy out of the game, which opens up opportunities for everybody else. It's pretty much how it's basic math in the NFL at that point. So get Jakeem Grant the ball a few times, make him get guys miss, then he can get into the open field, get some maybe if he even scores a touchdown. That would be fantastic if he scored a touchdown today on offense, not on special teams specifically, though that would be nice too. But if you can get Jakeem Grant involved, everything else opens up for the team. That's what I mean when I say the Dolphins needed somebody who can blow the top off of a defense. It opens everything up because now defenses have to be ready for that elite level speed. Grant has it. They just need to use it.
Alfredo, give me something else offensively they can do to make Tua feel more comfortable.
Well, they got to identify cover 3, which the Cardinals play some of, and they got to run a lot of over routes with Gesicki. Tua throws them well. Gesicki runs them well. And that's the best route, especially when you run it from the slot where Gesicki will be lined up of mostly. If you run it from the slot against cover 3, it should pop open. That should be a route that Tua should be looking at all day today. It's just about identifying coverages because you know where they're going to be. They're not particularly tricky. The difference between them and the Rams is both of them are pretty vanilla defenses, but the Rams have horses. They have great athletes. They have great players at all levels. The Cardinals, they're coming into this one kind of limping. They have some talent, but not the talent that the Rams have. So exploit the coverages that you're given. Tua knows how to read them, knows how to hit the routes that he needs to do against them.
Do you think we'll see more throwing on first down? I went back to, I don't know what you guys counted. I had 2 throws on first down in the last game. I think that's correct. I mean, wouldn't it make some sense instead of, Jordan Howard gets you to 2nd and 8, put you in those situations, to maybe get to us some short stuff, even if you're not trying to go downfield that much, but get the 5-6 yards on first down, get him comfortable, get him some rhythm?
Maybe an RPO package on first down for Tua and have him essentially call the plays on first down. Like that would be something that I would look forward to. I think Gailey is going to have to loosen the reins a little bit because I think they're going to have to score some points to win this one. So, yeah, they're going to have to throw the kitchen sink at the Cardinals. And that does include letting Tua run RPO on first down, have him essentially call the plays on first down.
All right, David, let's start to get to some picks and give you guys some time to do it. We talk about the Rams game, and I think that everybody felt fairly comfortable with the Rams, or at least locally felt comfortable. I saw like 22 people on NFL Network, and they all picked the Rams in that game. And
the final count ended up being 25-4 between ESPN and NFL Network.
All right. Well, I went to mybookie.ag and I won on the Dolphins. So in a parlay with the Steelers money line. So I'll take it. Although I'm never going to collect that election money. It doesn't look like. David, what do you like? I mean, you talk about some of the keys. Can the Dolphins execute those things? Do you like them today?
Listen, today's going to be a tough one. They're traveling west to face a good Cardinals team that puts up a lot of points, right? The Cardinals are coming off a bye, so there's that. Even though they're missing some players, and the Dolphins' offense has been atrocious over the last 6 quarters. Going back to the second half of the Jets game, there's been zero rhythm to this offense. They need to work on it. If they can find a rhythm offensively, then I think they're going to be in good shape, right? If they can put some points up against this Cardinals team, they'll have a chance to win this game. But if the offense can't get going, we may have the Cardinals running away with this one because their offense is potent. I mean, they scored 29 points per game, and DeAndre Hopkins, I mean, he hogs. I mean, Jakari mentioned it. He's a target hog, right? And he gets 73. I think he has 73 targets this year, which is the vast majority on that team. But he owned Xavier Howard the last time they played against each other in 2018. He had he owned Byron Jones when they played that year as well. So the Dolphins have their hands full today. And, if they can get the offense going, this will be a close game. But if they can't, the Cardinals might run away with this one by 10 points or more.
The only caveat I'll give you on him owning Xavier Howard is I think everybody owned everybody on Gase's team in that particular game. Wasn't that, from what I remember, wasn't that a national TV game where like Gase's teams got outscored like 3,000 to nothing?
Yes.
Yeah. It was also a watch party that we did.
Yeah, I was thinking that we did that one at Township on Las Olas. And,
the Dolphins. If you remember that game, the Dolphins kept threatening to tie the game, and then
they pulled away.
Houston would open up by 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, the only good thing that happened in that one was Devontae Parker. I think finally got on the field and got loose.
Yes.
Jakari, it doesn't sound like David's particularly confident, and to be honest with you, I'm not either. Who do you like today?
Well, I will say this. The Cardinals' offense is pretty vanilla. They don't really have complex route running schemes out of there just because when you watch them play, they don't run a lot of motion. It's just they're there. So they're going to run simple routes. But I think Miami should be favored in this game just because of how the defense has been playing. I do want to, if the offense does not open up, I agree with you that they will run away with this game, but I feel like we're going to see a better game plan today. I feel like we're going to see more throwing on first down. I want to see Tua pushing the ball downfield, and if that happens, I think they can win 27-24, just because the Dolphins have a better team, in my opinion, than the Cardinals. I just think they kind of have had some okay wins. They beat Dallas on national TV. Seattle gave them the game with Russell Wilson with the picks. So I just don't feel like this team is as good as their record says. So I think Miami can beat them.
The one other thing to throw in here is we've got a new 5 Reasons t-shirt coming that may drop here during the game. So it's about the defense. So that probably means the defense is going to give up 50 points. So I apologize for that in advance.
They just have to contain Rush Kyler Murray. Keep him inside the pocket. Do not let him, get because I've never seen nobody like that outside the pocket. Not even Lamar Jackson got what he has. So we just got to keep him inside the pocket. Make him throw the football for me.
Well, like I said, maybe we'll hold off the t-shirt till tomorrow. Lewis, who do you like?
Honestly, I like the Cardinals for this one just because, again, running quarterbacks have been the bane of Miami's existence since it feels like the last 10 years almost. I'm hoping that Byron Jones or Xavier Howard, whoever ends up having to cover Hopkins, can maybe make something happen. If Murray is going to rely on Hopkins so much that he's going to get a majority of those snaps, maybe Howard can finally cheat on a ball just maybe once and maybe get an interception off of him. But my hope is pretty much all that I have is my hope. I'm not trusting this Dolphins defense, especially after a game where they literally played the entire freaking game. How often was the offense on the field last week? Like a total of maybe 10 minutes tops. So it was. I imagine that I know that they had a week to kind of get their legs back under them, but I imagine there's still some leftover fatigue there. I'm not hopeful that they're going to be able to contain Kyler Murray. So I'm going to say that the Cardinals win this one 27-20. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm not hopeful for this offense right now for Miami. So I think the Cardinals are going to win this one.
93 snaps. The defense was on the field last week, and like you said, they're playing against a team coming off a bye. And the Murray thing, I actually like the Cardinals by 10 today. But Alfredo, who do you like?
Wow.
Yeah, I think the Dolphins have the players to play with the Cardinals offense, and the Cardinals offense is just like Jakari said, they are vanilla. Like you can find Nuke Hopkins at right wide receiver. Fitzgerald will be in the slot. They'll play him very much like a tight end, which suggests that Eric Rowe will be on Fitzgerald. And Christian Kirk always plays the flanker position, the X or the Y, on the left side. So you can find them and you can match up with them. It's entirely possible that the Dolphins play a very good game on defense and still give up 3 touchdowns because of their high-paced offense. They play a lot. They're going to play a lot of snaps. If we don't extend drives, they can blow the Dolphins out just on that alone. But I think the Dolphins defense stands up, but unfortunately they don't score enough to win. Cardinals 27, Dolphins 21.
I think we're all kind of in the same place except Jakari on this one. It is a CBS game, guys, correct? I believe,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Right? So right now, locally, they've got the Ravens game on against the Colts, but it's a CBS game. All right, we're going to be back afterwards, or at least some combination of this crew will be back afterwards. 3 yards per carry, new episode tomorrow night. If you have time, go check out prizepicks.com. Use the code 5. You'll have fun with it. Trust me. $20. Give it a $20 shot.
Tua going over his projected stats today. 300 yards passing.
I actually agree with you. I think that he's going to throw for some yards, but I think it's going to be when they're trailing. I think they're going to open it up when they're trailing. I think he'll put up numbers, but I don't necessarily think that they're going to win. Also, mybookie.ag, the code 5 on the floor or 3 yards. Use either of those 2 codes, and you will double your deposit. Louis will be on with me on OnsideRadio.com tomorrow at about 10:20 or so, and you can catch up with the rest of this crew later.
One thing to look for before we go out, Gerald Alexander, one of the coaches that will not be coaching, which means that Brian Flores will be calling all the substitutions on the defense. So him and Josh Boyer are basically going to be doing 6 jobs on the sideline today.
I don't know if that's a bad thing, though. Maybe not. Brian calling the plays may not be such a bad thing. All right, and we will have a T-shirt up on our site, Tropical Swarm. Check it out. See you soon.